Oke.
As set out for Aranias, we should also get going.
Jadi kita ngapain anjir?
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base.
Bisa ngomong ya?
Sure doesn't
Di dalam
seem
air.
out of-
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right?
Duel aja, duel, nih mah duel.
In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case.
Lu ya, lu yang nyari masalah tahu nggak sih? Cedek kagak salah apa-apa ditangkep aja.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House.
Hajar, gitu dong Cil.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man.
Ayo Silver, Navia, Melus.
Huh? What's going on?
Bacot dah, mulai dah ini.
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Lu kira cuma gara-gara Fatui gitu ha? Sila ini juga dikira Fatui bakal nyuri orang.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjection.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default. Correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So I'll
Cie,
take you up on that offer.
udah Lumin, Yoimiya, sekarang Navia.
May take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Iya pergi aja Cil, sumpah.
Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge?
That person is...
Buset. Si siapa sih Kalas ya? Marcel. Marcel bang.
the head of Confrérie of Cabriere.
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Ih, gila-gila makin banyak drama. Mereka seneng anjing.
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation.
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father?
Hmm.
Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor. If that's enough to make me a suspect...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Ini orang kapan dewasanya ya?
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. These are the known facts about the case.
Oke, berarti kalau pengalaman gua ke Laini,
To kill
bentar.
Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into what?
Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial...
Sekarang gua dah, ya Allah, membantah, kontradiksi, benar-benar nyari kontra ini kita. 3 kan bener?
Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder.
What a great theory! It also explains Callus's...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should...
but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Iya sih, bener ya. Agak dewasa dikit, nggak kayak waktu sama si Laini teh yang dia kayak banyak bacot doang.
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again.
Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have... But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clorand.
Wah, berarti si Cloren juga tahu ya.
I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clorand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Bener-bener ya. Ya, jangan nangis. Ya.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, and at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because the culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
Nah, berarti bener nih, jangan-jangan si Marcel nih.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even on top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the
Oof. Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me.
It's timing. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business... But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
Oh no.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had...
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the... You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared... But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure... And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache?
Vacher? Wah, gila. Navia. What the... Hah? Keren nanti. Kok keren sih? Wah. Tuh siapa tuh Vacher tuh? Hah? Siapa Vacher?
Oh, so you do know that name.
Bener kan?
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
Wah, bohong.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Navia, we're back!
Anjir, cepet banget. Gila sih. Berenang